show a few weeks back talking about building teams and why hiring more people isn't always the answer. We received a ton of great feedback and shares from that show, and this is something that I'm personally passionate about, so we're going to talk about it again, but from a slightly different angle though. By the way, guys, as I said, we've received a lot of great feedback lately, and both RC and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. The best thing that can happen to me is when I'm out and about with like my family or at an industry event and someone stops me to say hi and they tell us that they're playing their shows at their team meetings. We love it. Literally couldn't give us a bigger compliment. We've heard this a lot lately from East to West Coast. Thank you so much. We don't choose to monetize the show, but that compliment alone is more than enough. Thank you, and please keep sharing. Anyways, back to work. So I want to hit team building from a slightly different angle. My friend Riley sent me a good TED Talk the other day, and it really crushes this topic. So in an effort to work smarter, not harder, we'll simply post that video below. It's 13 minutes long, and if you're part of a team responsible for building teams or some sort of manager, you need to watch it. Here's a sneak peek. The TED Talk is titled, "Are You a Giver or a Taker?" and it's from Adam's book called Give and Take. Here's a tease.
Let even one taker into a team, and you will see that the givers will stop helping. They'll say, I'm surrounded by a bunch of snakes and sharks. Why should I contribute? Whereas if you let one giver into a team, you don't get an explosion of generosity. More often, people are like, great, that person can do all our work. So effective hiring and screening and team building is not about bringing in the givers. It's about weeding out the takers.
Now this is a good TED Talk, and building highly efficient teams, which is a talk that I've given before, isn't simply about weeding out takers or bad apples, and it's not about just hiring givers. Team dynamic is very important, and it can be the main reason that a team succeeds, and it can also be the main reason that a team fails. Bad apples can be cancerous to an organization, but in real estate and in lending, we tend to let those bad apples stick around a little bit too long. And why? Well, because they're typically great producers and they bring a lot of business into the branch or the office. But that's a slippery slope. They may bring in $100 million worth of business, and that's why we let cancerous people stay, but I'm telling you, there's so many examples in our industry and in professional sports of weeding out takers or bad apples, and that move alone leads to several new hires or players willing to join your team or organization because the one bad apple is gone, oftentimes leading to an even better team. Sure, you lost $100 million worth of business, or maybe you're even your star player, but sometimes you can pick up $200 million worth of business, or even better players that wouldn't have joined your team due to the bad apple. This is a great topic for our industry and something worth sharing and discussing with your teams and your leaders and your managers. The example I gave you before about a $100 million bad apple producer, that's a very common challenge in our industry, and it's way harder to let that person go. It's much easier said than done, but I'm telling you, if you can find unity, it will lead to highly efficient teams, and more importantly, a great place to work where you feel safe, fulfilled, and rewarded. Now, I'm blessed to be a part of such a team, but it took several years to find and build it, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done. Now, Adam finishes his talk with a statement that is super important to me and something that meets my own personal why, and I will leave you guys with that statement.
I believe that the most meaningful way to succeed is to help other people succeed. And if we can spread that belief, we can actually turn paranoia upside down. There's a name for that. It's called pronoia. Pronoia is the delusional belief that other people are plotting your well-being.